use this occasion to also express my sorrow that we have failed one of our greatest gurus. To me, the greatest guru that I could bow my head to. We have failed him by not following his teachings. I take only one example. I mean, there are so many other examples. I agree that being a Sikh is to learn, and a large number of audience consists of Sikhs. And we are all learners, no matter what we are. And it is profoundly disturbing that when it comes to these fundamentals, we just don't learn. Where is the message of Guru Nanak amongst us, I ask you? We are failing. Failing the Guru, the ideals, the teachings, and in that process we are definitely failing our own selves. As individuals, we need to understand the message of Guru Nanak, because that's the first part of it. And then to imbibe whatever little we can from it. This book is an attempt to get that message across to an audience which is wider than the traditional audience. It has been a very conscious effort to write this book in a simple form, to embellish it with visual elements drawn from historic sources, to present before a reader something that is very contemporary, that contains a message that is very contemporary, but is somehow getting lost on us. I see this book as just yet another attempt to get us back to the message which we need to have in us anyways. If it makes a little difference, I'll be the happiest man alive. If it doesn't, I'll keep on writing. I'll keep on working. Thank you very much.
Roopinder is open to answer questions. So would you like to ask him anything? Any questions for Roopinder about the book, about himself, about the process of creation? Anything?
Roopinder, the fact that Guru Gobind Singh had multiple wives, does it go against Guru Nanak's message?
As we always have to look at the context here. As far as I know, Guru Nanak never said anything specific on this issue. And if there is nothing specific, then there is no specific violation of that.
No, but if there's a concept of equality, doesn't it militate against that concept?
No, but there are societies where this happens and they claim that they treat them as equals. I don't know. I've never had that honor or pleasure or whatever.
Well, I want to know, I haven't read your book, unfortunately, but has the message of the Babar Bani been included in this? Because we are living in a world where I think Babar is there.
Absolutely.
You have
It is very much a part of this. Guru Nanak's social comments are very pungent, very relevant. And we tend to believe, we have this sort of a mythical image of somebody who's very soft. He's not. He's not a soft man. He's a true man. He's a clear man. And when he had to say what he had to say, he set it forth in a very clear language. We have it. It is very much a part of this. And yes, the social comments unfortunately are still as relevant today as they were. I mean, I've just picked up on one topic which was of concern to me right now, which we could pick up Guru Nanak on any other topic. And it's so sad that as a society we've not been able to progress much beyond what we were. We think of progress in terms of material gains, but that has not been what we've achieved.
Situation is much worse now than it was, I think, ever.
Absolutely.
So Bani is very relevant.
The message is relevant, the message needs to be spread out, and we all have to make our own little efforts to spread it out according to our own understanding of what the message is. The people who are doing audio-visual presentations, the people who are doing various wonderful things on the web, and the people who are writing books, the people who just talk to other people, the people who I have the most regard for, people who demonstrate goodness through various actions. There is philanthropy. There are a lot of instances of people helping out those in need. And one is really, really grateful to them. They are showing us the way. They are the followers. We are not. We call ourselves the followers. We are not. I wish we were.
Roopinder, you mentioned that you respond to challenges rather than coming from yourself. Here is a challenge to write a book on Sikh women. And I have been trying to get information, for example, in the Sikh diaspora, as you know, and that's my interest. Are there many Sikh women who migrated abroad on their own, not as a wife, not necessarily as a daughter or as a mother? In other words, we do write about Sikhs abroad, but I have very little information that are there Sikh women who migrated or made themselves known, popular, and had a place of their own abroad as well as in India. So here's a challenge for you to write a book or something like that, and for the Rupa itself.
It's a challenge which I'm very willing to take up, provided you take up some instances. I've never come across an instance like that. You have more extensive research on this. Let's pool our resources and see if we are up to this challenge. I saw this one photograph at Berkeley University, which shows like 50 Indians and one poor Lakshmi Devi wearing a sari somehow. She had kept it. The Americans had a policy of exclusion. They did not allow women in. They did not want the foreign workers to have children. The human rights situation in America about 100 years ago was extremely different from what it is today. Of course, it's very similar to the way they are behaving in Iraq, but that's a separate issue altogether. And they just didn't allow women in. So chances are that there were no women. But like I saw this one photograph, there could be somebody else. This was a photograph which was with James Singh, who's a third generation American Indian and is at Berkeley University. She had that, I happened to see it, I met her and we discussed it. But that is the only case which I know of. But yeah, it's a challenge. And let's see if we can do something about it. But thankfully in the contemporary world we have people we can write about. We need to write about these role models. You know, my previous book is about Air Marshal Arjun Singh. And why did I write the book about him? Because I look up to him. I really can't think of any more powerful reason than that. I mean, I've been, like most of us in the audience, brought up on a diet of Ladybird series. I knew more about Sir Walter Raleigh than I knew about any Indian finance. Those were very attractive books. They came out with this series called Chiratavali, again a Rupa endeavor. And they invited people to write, and we have now about, I guess, 30-40 books of different Indian role models. We need them. We need role models. We need to focus on positivity. We've as a society become extremely negative. You know, we look at the negativity around. We want to find negativity. We want to bring people down. We don't want to go up to that level. We don't want to expand ourselves. We should not allow ourselves to become dwarfs. Sorry, I digressed. Anything else?
Who's teaching the
Roopinder Ji, when Nanak came out of Rhine, he said, there is no Hindu, there is no Muslim. अगर उसने सिख की होते तो ये भी कहते कि there is no Hindu, no Muslim.
बिल्कुल कहते कि जिस किस्म ने ये सिखाएंगे और जाता कहते.
What does this mean?
To my mind, it means recognizing the essence of humanity as humanity and not allowing yourself to build artificial barriers based on religion, any religion, including secularism for that matter, including people who profess to be his followers. Because I'm sorry, people profess to be his followers. They really, I mean, I've yet to come across too many people who are his followers.
All the modern things are following his step when they don't allow even the Saitari to recite Gurbani in Golden Temple, while he was all the time with Mardana, who was Muslim, who was reciting Gurbani.
I think that whenever you start organizing religion, you get into a problem, which is what happens here. Religion is within us. The very core of religion are the moral values, which are universal. Around them are built practices. And when you start, organized religion has never been the answer, and there has always been when religion becomes more organized than it ought to be, there is always a revolt against it. Like the kind of revolt you are mentioning right now.
I think the gentleman here had a question.
Sir.
I was only one observation that Guru's teachings are the universal truths. He created environment which individuals like us, martyrs of faith, that keeps changing. It has been changing from good to bad to worse. Now, perhaps it was easier for a human being to be able to follow or imbibe the teachings of the Guru 100 years before. Maybe it will be more difficult another 100 years down the line. Now, to that extent, maybe these kind of efforts or more efforts need to be exercised in the society to be able to have something at least out of this, what the Guru has given us.
So you have a point, but I am afraid I am not in complete agreement with you on this. The basic environment doesn't change. There was greed, there was repression, there was pleasure, there was pain. That's still on today. We like to believe that we are going through a tougher time than what we were. Really, I feel that they had a tougher time. They had far less economic means than we do, and they were far better developed morally. I think too much of the good thing has been corrupting our moral fiber. And to my mind, at least, religion has always been nothing. The core has to be moral. Moral fiber. May help us develop.
छोटी जी गल मैं कहा
जी
ਜੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਰਿਲੀਜਨ ਨੂੰ ਡਿਸਕ੍ਰਾਈਬ ਕਰਦੇ ਹੋ ਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਜਿਸ ਨੂੰ ਰਿਲੀਜਨ ਨੂੰ ਧਰਮ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਆ ਧਰਮ ਦਾ ਕੀ ਮਤਲਬ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਅਸੀਂ ਰਿਲੀਜਨ ਦਾ ਮਤਲਬ ਧਰਮ ਲੈਂਦੇ ਰਿਲੀਜਨ ਮੀਨਸ ਕਾਸਟ ਧਰਮ ਇੱਕ ਇਹੋ ਜਿਹਾ ਵਰਡ ਹੈ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਬਹੁਤ ਵਾਈਡ ਹੈ ਜੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਰਿਲੀਜਨ ਨਾਲ ਕਿਉਂ ਇਸ ਮਤਲਬ ਸਾਰੀਆਂ ਗਲਤੀਆਂ ਸਾਡੀਆਂ ਇੱਥੇ ਆ ਕੇ ਇਹ ਜਦੋਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਰਿਲੀਜਨ ਨੂੰ ਧਰਮ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਆਮ ਕਹਾਵਤ ਹੈ ਤੇਰਾ ਕੀ ਧਰਮ ਰਹਿ ਗਿਆ ਤੂੰ ਇੰਨਾ ਝੂਠ ਦੁਕਾਨ ਬੋਲਦਾ ਤੇਰਾ ਕੀ ਧਰਮ ਹੈ ਇਟਸ ਨਾਟ ਅ ਕਾਸਟ
ਜਦੋਂ ਅਸੀਂ
ਹਾਂਜੀ ਬਰਾਬਰ ਅਗਰ ਇਸ ਨੂੰ ਪੂਰਾ ਫੁੱਲੀ ਡਿਸਕ੍ਰਾਈਬ ਕੀਤਾ ਜਾਵੇ ਕਈ ਭਰਮ ਨਿਕਲ ਜਾਣ
ਬਿਲਕੁਲ ਸਹੀ ਗੱਲ ਹੈ ਇਹਦੇ ਕੋਈ ਸ਼ੱਕ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈ ਔਰ ਜੋ ਕੁਝ ਧਰਮ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੈ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਉਹਦਾ ਜਿੰਨਾ ਅਸੀਂ ਸਮਝ ਲਈਏ ਉਨਾ ਹੀ ਘੱਟ ਹੈ ਔਰ ਉਹ ਕਿਸੇ ਵੀ ਐਸਾ ਕੋਈ ਅੰਗਰੇਜ਼ੀ ਦਾ ਕੋਈ ਐਸਾ ਸ਼ਬਦ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈ ਜਿਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਮੇਟ ਸਕੋ ਉਹ ਤੋਂ ਕਿਤੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਜਾਂਦਾ
ਅਸੀਂ ਸਿੱਖ ਧਰਮ ਕਹਿ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਸਿੱਖ ਧਰਮ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਹੈ ਧਰਮ ਦਾ ਇਹੋ ਜਿਹਾ ਵਰਡ ਹੈ
ਹਾਂਜੀ ਸੌਰੀ ਹਾਂਜੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕੁਝ ਕਹਿ ਰਹੇ ਸੀ
ਮੈਂ ਤਾਂ ਇਹ ਕਹਿ ਰਹੀ ਸੀ ਵੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਧਰਮ ਨੂੰ ਇੱਕ ਸਿੱਖ ਧਰਮ ਜਾਂ ਮੁਹੰਮਦਨ ਧਰਮ ਚ ਕਨਵਰਟ ਖਤਮ ਕਰ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਪਰ ਧਰਮ ਦਾ ਮਤਲਬ ਸਿੱਖੀਜ਼ਮ ਜਾਂ ਹਿੰਦੂਇਜ਼ਮ ਜਾਂ ਮੁਸਲਿਮ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈ ਅਗਰ ਅਸੀਂ ਧਰਮ ਨੂੰ ਪੂਰੀ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਐਕਸਪਲੇਨ ਕਰੀਏ ਵਾਈਡਰ ਸੈਂਸ ਲੈ ਲਈਏ ਸਾਡੇ ਬਹੁਤ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਭਰਮ ਇਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਟੁੱਟ ਜਾਣ ਮੇਰਾ ਤਾਂ ਇੰਨੇ
ਬਿਲਕੁਲ
ਅਸੀਂ ਸਮਝਣ ਚ ਗੁਰੂ ਨਾਨਕ ਦੇਵ ਜੀ ਜਾਂ ਸਾਰੀਆਂ ਫਿਲਾਸਫੀ ਨੂੰ ਸਮਝਣ ਚ ਅਸੀਂ ਬਹੁਤ ਕੁਝ ਗੇਨ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ
ਬਿਲਕੁਲ ਸਹੀ ਹੈ।
ਸਿਰਫ ਇੰਨਾ
ਇਹਦੇ ਕੋਈ ਸ਼ੱਕ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈ।
ਤੇ ਦੂਸਰੀ ਗੱਲ ਇੱਕ ਮੈਂ ਇਹ ਕਹਿਣੀ ਸੀ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਿਰਫ ਗੁਰੂ ਨਾਨਕ ਦੇਵ ਜੀ ਦੀ ਇੱਥੇ ਖਤਮ ਕਰ ਦਿਓ, ਜਿੱਤ ਜੰਮੇ ਰਾਜਾ। ਇਹਦੋਂ ਅਗਲੀ ਲਾਈਨ ਕਿਉਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਕੋਟ ਕਰਦੇ? ਭੰਡੋ ਬਾਹਰ, ਭੰਡੋ ਬਾਹਰ ਕਿ ਇੱਕੋ ਸੱਚਾ ਸੋ ਰੱਬ ਤੋਂ ਹੇਠਾਂ ਪੁੱਤਰ ਕੇ ਤੀਵੀਂ ਦੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ।
ਬਿਲਕੁਲ
ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇੱਥੇ ਆ ਕੇ ਖਤਮ ਕਰ
ਨਹੀਂ, ਮੈਂ ਤਾਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਕੀਤਾ, ਮੈਂ ਆਪਣੀ ਕਿਤਾਬ 'ਚ ਨਹੀਂ
ਜੰਮੇ
ਕੀਤਾ,
ਰਾਜਾਨ ਤੇ ਖਤਮ ਕਰਤੀ ਗੱਲ।
ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਉਹ ਤਾਂ ਇਹਦੇ 'ਚ ਆਈ ਨਹੀਂ ਹਲੇ, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਲੰਬਾ ਚੈਪਟਰ ਹੈ।
ਨਹੀਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕੋਟ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ ਜਿੱਤ ਜੰਮੇ ਰਾਜਾ।
ਉਹ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਅੱਗੇ ਹਲੇ ਚੱਲ ਰਿਹਾ ਸੀਗਾ ਤੇ ਸਮਝ ਦਾ ਧਿਆਨ ਰੱਖਣਾ ਪੈਂਦਾ ਹੈ।
ਬਸ
गुरु अर्जन साहब ने डेफिनेशन दी है धर्म की।
जी।
सगल धर्म में श्रेष्ठ धर्म, सगल धर्म में श्रेष्ठ धर्म, हर का नाम जप निर्मल कर्म। That is the real definition.
I'm looking at the fact that you've researched the book, and I'd like to know whether there are any separate scriptures for women and separate scriptures for men within Sikhism or Guru Nanak Dev Ji. That's my first question. There are none.
No.
In your research, because I have not researched. That mere fact, not a separate teaching for women and men, shows us that there is no discrimination between men and women. So I first have to ask you whether that is true.
Absolutely.
From there, I would then draw the conclusion that there is no discrimination. If there's not a separate set of spiritual instructions for women and a separate set of spiritual instructions for men, then there is no difference.
There is absolutely no difference in the
Guru's
teaching.
teachings were for all of us as men and women.
Absolutely.
And we can infer, therefore, that discrimination does not come into this at all.
No, normally it does not, but the social discrimination was so prevalent that he felt impelled to talk about it, to condemn it in no uncertain terms.
So spiritually we are all the same.
Yes,
And we are all exhorted to follow the same path.
absolutely.
Either male or female.
Absolutely.
We're all told naam. We're not told this is the naam for women and this is the naam for men.
So there is one path which is for all of us, and there is no two ways about that.
That points towards the oneness of both.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Any other questions? I think we are ready to wind up now. I want to thank Roopinder and I want to thank all of you for being here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And please buy the book.